So I'm sure you guys have probably already seen the clip, the most locked in cat girl you'll ever see in Battlefield 6. And it's a clip of somebody having pretty insane aim. He must just have a great gaming chair, great PC, high FPS in the Battlefield 6 beta. And I think most people immediately thought that this guy was cheating from the clip where he's flicking onto enemies, including enemies that he literally can't see, tracing them through barriers. I'll just go ahead and play a snippet of this clip so you can see what I'm talking about.
Oh my god, you did follow me in Delta Force era. That was so long ago. Oh my god, what the fuck? That was nuts! Wow, I flicked straight at that guy through the wall. Oopsie. Targeting 240 FPS? Good computer.
So as of the time of recording this video, this clip has over 86 million views, and I think it's pretty clear to a lot of people that the flicks looked unnatural, especially the one that most people are calling out. The one where he flicks to a rock and seems to be tracking somebody through that rock, and then he moves to the right and there's actually a guy there. I don't know about you guys, that looks like cheating to me, and cheating in a beta is obviously crazy, especially for a game like Battlefield, which doesn't even have a competitive scene, but people are going to do anything to get their clips off. He'd reply to his own post with, "It's crazy what having good FPS can do for you." I mean, this has got to be rage bait. Yeah, I flicked to a guy and perfectly tracked him through a wall. It's just good FPS, bro. Just upgrade your PC. And then he'd reply to everybody calling him a cheater with, "Not cheating. Cheating below 720p is impressive. I must say my eyes were screaming watching these vids. Not cheating. Blatant and obvious cheating. Not cheating. Nice aimbot there. Amazing flip around and perfect aiming right for the enemy that's behind a rock. I miss the days when cheaters weren't so blatant. Not cheating." At Twitch support, "Hello, please ban the streamer using aimbot, please." And he replies, "Twitch usually only bans people who are actually cheating for that." And the next day he would end up getting banned on Twitch. Case in point. "This channel is temporarily unavailable due to a violation of Twitch's community guidelines or terms of service." Explain the turnaround in 10 to 15 seconds, and that's the rock clip. And he says, "Look at my minimap." So he's trying to say that the flick and tracking the guy through the rock was because he saw that guy on his minimap. So in the vast majority of cases, people thought that this guy was cheating, and he would have a few defenders, or some people who said that it's possible that these were just very sharp flicks, and that you could do this with good mouse control. But it's just a little bit hard to believe, especially since you never really see anybody else aiming this way, like doing crazy sharp flicks and then being perfectly accurate on the guy's body. Even looking at the slowed down version of this clip, it just doesn't really look any better. So he shoots this guy over here, then flicks around, shooting at this rock. And where his aim is pretty much exactly on the guy's body. And there's various types of cheats, different aimbots. You can set it to go for the torso or for the head. You can have soft aim locking, or you could just have wall hack so you know exactly where everybody is. And Battlefield doesn't have a pro scene, but even in games like Call of Duty where there is one, there's just nobody that aims like this. So I don't know if Catboy over here from the Battlefield 6 beta is just built differently from the rest of us, and able to do these 180 flicks and perfectly lock onto people and then track them perfectly as well. So then, as you would expect since it's Twitter, this conversation switched from being about this guy cheating and transformed into a conversation about him being a transgender, and people jumping to his defense because he was getting misgendered. One of Twitter's greatest freaks, Nyara VT, making this post saying, "Bigots mass reporting her Twitch account and dogpiling on her just shows that this space is flooded with toxic, insecure men who can't handle when a woman is better at games. The transphobia makes it so obvious that they want to push us out and thus eradicate from public life." Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro, it's not that deep. That's a guy, by the way, and so are you, so this is some friendly fire action going on here. Saying insecure men, derogatory, who can't handle when a woman is better at games. The only problem is you, me, and Riley CS are all men. We're all dudes. There's no women in this conversation. When a woman is better and it's just one of the guys, like, we have to be real at some point. You can believe in all of that and have your fantasies, but the rest of us don't have to agree with it. We don't have to think that your delusions are true because you want them to be. And then you had some very normal people from that community making posts posts like this, blocking this account, but to go as far as saying catboy when it's so obviously a woman is just a perfect example of how being trans gets you hate for no reason. The owner of Pirate Nation will be found in their apartment after weeks of decay on March 22nd, 2026. And you can see from the profile picture, old Strong Joe over here, really mad at this post by Pirate Nation. Crazy how he says this is a perfect example of how being trans gets you hate for no reason. And then in the very next sentence, he hands out a death threat, saying that this guy is going to be found after weeks of decay in less than a year from now. It's just beyond parody, man. We get hate for no reason. Also, if you misgender us, I'll kill you. Like, dude, freaks like this need to be in a psych ward, man. Dexerto would make this post, which got over 36 million views, talking about when rileycs got banned. So seeing that this person, rileycs, is a part of the trans community, it became a political conversation rather than one about whether or not they're cheating, and people like Nyara VT and others started jumping to their defense for that reason.
Wow, I flicked straight at that guy through the wall.
rileycs is not cheating. Obviously, there are a lot of people who are interacting with the discourse in bad faith, but I do think there's a subset of people who are just genuinely unsure. So, as somebody who's been around the AIM community for a couple of years now, made educational AIM content in the past, and is okay at games myself, let's break it down.
He's somebody who's been around the AIM community for a couple of years now. Get a load of this guy, man. Like, what is the AIM community? Yeah, as an AIM community member myself, I would like to say that this guy is clearly not cheating and that these are just some beautiful flick shots. Like, come on, bro. There would be another person who decided to quote the Riley tweet saying, "I'm curious if Twitter thinks I'm cheating too." Hashtag Battlefield 6, hashtag Aimer. Well, let's go ahead and look at this clip from another person from the AIM community. Yeah, it looks legit, just crispy flicks, incredible aim, really good gaming chair, and some high FPS, man. When I see some of the best pros from CS, Valorant, Call of Duty, and they just don't aim like this, but random catboy dudes on the internet do, I mean, come on, man. Obviously, if you were so cracked as to perfectly flick and lock onto somebody that's like 180 degrees behind you, you should probably sign with a professional team in CS so NA can win another major. Trust me, bro, these people just have better aim and are more consistent than most Counter-Strike and Valorant pros. Go look at any pro league for an FPS game, you will not see shit like this. But apparently there are 5 people on Twitter who are just that good. And they're getting immediately called out in the replies. You're shooting at a person behind a tree with no visual cues of them being there, so yes. And he replies with teammate shot. Oh, so your teammate in like your peripheral vision was shooting at a guy, so therefore you knew exactly where he was and perfectly flicked onto him and got the kill. You just traced your teammate's bullets to the exact position of that guy's torso and destroyed him. Not cheats, by the way, just good FPS and a good gaming chair. Like, why did this guy post this? Like, oh, I'm doing it too, so if there's 2 clips of guys aiming like this, then people will think we're not cheating. And the conversation would continue to devolve more than this. This trans guy, Goth Girl, only made that post to try to defend the other trans guy, rileycs, doing the aimbotting BS, and I can only guess that these people are more obsessed with the politics of it, which is why they're making all these response videos defending Riley when none of them are actually pros in anything. They even tried to cancel the VTuber Camilla because she made this response to the Dexerto post saying, "Hope he never comes back." And of course this triggered the crowd that doesn't like it when a dude who sounds like a guy is called a guy when they're actually trans. With Nyara saying, "Why is Camilla misgendering a trans woman who is currently the target of a harassment campaign?" You could call it a harassment campaign, but it's really just people calling them out for cheating. Not just rileycs, but everybody else that posts clips being like, "I have these kinds of flicks too, am I cheating?" And then you had a bunch of random VTubers that nobody watches trying to join the queue to cancel Camilla over this, making these replies, but most normal people don't really care actually. With one of Twitter's biggest lolcows, Nbinted, saying, "If the situation was the other way around and it was Camilla tweeting something pro-trans, I promise you the negative comments would be much worse than this." Just so we're all clear, the conversation was about a dude cheating in the Battlefield beta, and nobody likes cheaters, which is why that person was getting hate. Camilla would make a post saying, "My bad, I didn't know. I just saw a cheater, not anything else. I'm sorry." And of course, she was reassured by the replies that she didn't need to apologize in the first place, and that obviously she didn't know and people were just trying to organize a witch hunt. At the end of the day, people just do not like cheaters. It's not hate on what these people are and whatever they're doing in their personal lives. It's just that nobody wants to see clips of cheaters, people aimbotting, looking at enemies through walls, and then trying to say, "Oh, I'm just better at the game, bro. I'm just a member of the AIM community." I will also know that this guy had some some pretty insane gains from all of this, as is what happens when a clip gets over 80 million views. I guess a lot of the negativity brought in some supporters, or a bunch of people that were there to hate watch, but his Twitch gained over 10,000 followers, and he had a peak viewership of 1,500. Pretty big spike in Twitch performance here after that clip went viral. I guess we'll have to see if this actually lasts, or if it's just people that are hate watching and seeing if he's cheating or not. But the main takeaway from all of this is that people just don't like cheaters, and trying to flex your crazy aim skills while perfectly flicking on people through walls isn't really going to get you a lot of positive press.